Lights, camera, action. Welcome to the Scrapbook Podcast, Director's Cut. Welcome back to the Scrapbook Podcast. This is Jody Pratt with my fellow host Patrick Wigfall. It is Director's Cut, baby.
Woo! Let's get it.
Okay, so I got a story to tell. I don't know if that was a rap song or not. Welcome to Cop. I don't know. Anyway, it's called Any Day Now, right? And it takes place in the Gold Rush era. We have our protagonist, Denver Holtz, and then our antagonist, the Corn Sand Twins. But we'll get into those, get into them later. So this starts out, I want to say it's a Quentin Tarantino-esque type of jumping around, Pulp Fiction jumping around. So,
as far as like the time of when something's happening compared to
exactly
what the audience is seeing. Okay.
Yeah. So it starts out with Denver Holtz. He's been shot multiple times, being dragged into a cave by the Corn Sand Twins, and he's bleeding out and shit like that, and he's trying to hold his wounds. The Corn Sand Twins are asking for his gun because there are people outside, and they're just like, we're going to go fend them off. Like, you stay here. You know, so he's in the back of the cave. It's not a deep cave, but I want to say like 20 feet.
Yeah, there's a corner in that bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And also it's, I want to say it's about 11 o'clock, so it's real bright. So they're in the back of the cave and stuff like that. They're like, we'll be right back. Like, are you sure we can get the gun, bro, and make sure they don't come back? He's just like, fuck no. His gun stays with me. You guys, go check everything out. Or they were just like, we're going to go and make sure we lost him. Some shit like that. Right? So they leave the cave. Then he's sitting there just like trying to hold his shit together, but obviously in shock. Right? And then it cuts to 6 days ago. 6 days prior. Right? He's with his he stands at the doorway of his home. Everybody in his house is sick. He has a bandana over his face. Actually 7 days prior. So he has a bandana over his face. And his wife and children are just covered in pox. Right?
Smallpox.
Yeah. Covered in pox. And he's just like, fuck. Like, I'll be back, 8 days time, 2 weeks time.
There's a real reality, too. When you leave niggas with smallpox, you might come back to just like bodies. Yeah.
But he's just like, just hold on, because there's a reason.
How far away is he from where he's going? Or where the
5 days time.
So, is he in the same state? How far did he go?
I want to say he has to cross state lines.
Okay.
So 5 days time in a journey, that's about a state.
And we're traveling like 18 hours a day. I'm taking 4 hours.
Yeah, we're
and we gotta let the horse chill for a second, but we're on the move.
Yeah. So, let's say this was a day after he heard a good tip, right? So this time his family's sick. He's not walking into a sick family. They've been sick for a little bit of time. I want to say about a week or so. And he's been sleeping outside and shit like that because he hasn't caught it. Mm-hmm. Although they laid together and shit like that. And then when she started to notice boils and shit and coughing and the baby's like... So he's just like, all right, there's a reason why I didn't get this, and it's because I need to do what I have to do, right? That was about day 8. So day 7 he goes to work. He's in a mining company, and they're Native Americans in there. They're white, Europeans and shit, and there are a few black people in there, and they're mining out some sort of metal material, whatever the fuck. And he's in there, he's working and shit like that. His mind is just going flashbacks of his kids and shit, and everybody's like, go, 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 and start to rumble under his feet, and the mine is collapsing. So he's just like, fuck, takes off, and the little from where he's at, the entrance of the cave of the mining shaft is a pin drop. So the motherfucker's far away. You know what I mean? And all he sees is motherfuckers in front of him.
He's a quarter mile in, and this shit's kind of at a descent.
Exactly, bro. So he's knees to chest and shit like that. People are passing him up. He wasn't the best fucking athlete. You know what I mean?
Shoot your face off.
But people
hit me in a 40-yard dash.
Exactly. People in front of him are getting taken out by falling boulders and shit. Yeah. So he's like knees to chest, getting the fuck out of there. He trips. Boom. Dick and chest hit the ground. You know what I mean? And then the Cornsand twins are, I want to say 20 feet in front of him. And he's like, help! Denver says. And then they look back. He's like, fuck. They go run back and grab him up. Mm-hmm. And they push out of that bitch. And they get free, right? At the same time, a few more people can head out. So I want to say there's like 60 people on that the team. Only like 30 made it out. 25. You know what I mean? All the rest are they're fucked up. Oof. They're dead. And then Denver Holtz has got hands on his knees and shit, checking out like back then, if you scrape your knee or some shit,
you're like, I could die tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. So
sneezes were terrifying back then.
And he's like, "Whew, man, dude, like I made it out like another one because I just made it out of spending days with people with smallpox. I made it out with, So he's checking himself out, and he overhears a couple people talking, and they're just like, see, I can't do this shit anymore, man. Like, this is like the 5th shaft that's crushed, like, in the past,
caved in, yeah.
Caved in that in the
we're going
past
too
6
deep
months
and we're
or
not
so.
putting up the right things.
Yeah, we're not keeping the entrance up by wood. Like, these niggas are just carving it out and throwing dynamite in this bitch, and there's nobody who knows what they're doing. See, that's why I have a prospect in
yada yada
Wichita County, and there's fucking gold there, bro.
Not in this mineral shit.
Yeah, gold. And this is gold rush era. So the dude he's talking to, he's like, this is some stranger he's overhearing, by the way. Mm-hmm. The dude he's talking to is just like, are you serious? And he's like, fuck yeah, we can go and handle that shit. Our cell, just me and you. It takes about 5-6 days time. We'll be back.
Rich
as fuck. Richer than you could ever fucking imagine.
No more digging, man. No more digging.
Wichita County, it's about blah, blah, blah from blah. Like, so he gives them the general parameters on where it's at.
Okay.
And he's just like, okay. He's like, you want to do it? He's like, I got kids, man. I can't just abandon them. He's like, you think this shit is going to make enough money for them? This right here? Mm-hmm. We got to go find somewhere else to do this shit. We got to go find another mine that needs somebody. Mm-hmm.
Like, and we're the one risking our lives. They're making the biggest profit off of this because we're bringing it back to the main dude at this site. We're not leaving the mines with everything that we get.
But with this shit, we can.
Leave with everything.
You know what I mean? There's gold right under the big oak. That's what I heard. My brother told me himself from his fucking mouth. And the other guy, he was like, okay, like, all right, we can do it. And they shook hands, and then it peers over and catches the Holtz in the frame, and he's like drawing a map because he has a general idea where he's fucking talking about. Mm-hmm. So
there's only so many encampments 5 days away, like, and he knows the area, and he's not stupid to like.
You're like, an oak only grows in a certain area over here, and I think I know exactly where he's talking about.
This is all barren land. They need some kind of water source. You're not going to get a huge oak in the middle of nowhere, so we're looking for streams. I know where all the streams are at. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, yada, yum.
Exactly. So he's like, huh. And in this state of, always in a perpetual state of shock, Holtz is, because he's always getting fucked up in some sort of way. You'll understand. So he almost just died in there. Mm-hmm. So
he almost died at his family's house. Like, he should have been dead already.
Yeah. So he's looking, and he can't go back home because he promised his wife he'd come back with something. Mm-hmm. Something that'll get them healthy. You know what I mean? Enough that will, and this shit is paying like, what, a quarter a day? Maybe?
A quarter? And that's not paying for my that's not paying for my end on what I need to get out there.
Exactly. So he has a horse and shit like that, and he sees the Cornsand twins, which
Cornsand twins are what nationality?
They're Native American.
Okay, that's a nice little mix-in. Switch it up.
Yeah. So they aren't really twins, but they're friends. They're just people are just being racist by calling them twins.
Yeah. Okay. Like always.
One twin is called Edwin Running Wind, and the other one's Claremont Pasquale. So he walks up to them. He was like, "You boys trying to make some money? Like I owe you for, you know what I mean?" And they look at each other and like, the twins look at each other like, okay, like, well, what do you have in mind? And then he shows them the map. Like, he's going in like, if we're going to do this, though, we got to leave right now. And if you got guns, ditch them. I'm the only one that's going to have guns here.
Like, you can either come with me without a gun or you keep your gun and stay here.
Yeah.
But, I want to pay off my debt that I owe you.
And he shows them the map in a flash.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we need to go. Boom, takes it away, puts it in his pocket. Just so you don't, just enough that you have insurance that we're going somewhere,
mm-hmm.
but you don't have the recollection of where exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the twins say, we won't leave right now, but in the morning. We're sore from, this and that. We just escaped this shit.
Well, they got hit with a few things on the way out. You got a nick on your shoulder and shit. You escaped a caving mine.
Yeah, we start new in the morning, okay? And then like, bet, they all shook hands. Then we cut back to the cave, right? And it's him. He's tied his shirt around his waist and shit like that. Made sure there's an exit wound in front of the right side of his chest. I mean, an entrance wound from the right side of his chest, but he feels it. There's a hole in the back side through his back, so the bullet went all the way through. So he's like, all right, that's good because there won't be any extreme internal bleeding from this bullet just rocking around inside me. I got shot in the leg as well and in the belly. But the belly stopped bleeding for sure, but this leg is shot to shit. Like, this ain't moving. But he tries to get up anyway and end up reopening his wound in his belly.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to prop himself up in some sort of way. And then so maybe he's not in the far back, but he's like on a boulder in the middle of the shit. Mm-hmm. So he tries to stand up and falls like right on his ass. And so he just army crawls to the back of the cave. And the back of the cave is like, it's domed out. So it's damn near smooth rock in the back. No jags. And he puts his hand, there's a bloody handprint on the wall now, and that slides down, and he's just sitting there, just like, fuck. That's his stage of not accepting the predicament that he's in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if anybody comes to the cave, now he has an advantageous position.
I'm going to see you before you see me.
Exactly. And I got a bullet for your ass, too.
And I've been resting. I'm not sitting there struggling in the heat. I'm now in a cave where only one source of light is coming from, right?
Yeah. But he's also fucked himself up by reopening wounds that he sealed up by trying to stand again. He's trying to measure where the fuck he's at. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So after this, it cuts back to their travel. And it rains every single day that they're traveling.
Does it matter where they're at? Like what area of...
I mean, it could be a flash rain anywhere. You know what I mean?
But I'm trying to, in my head, picture the tundra that they're going through. Are they going through,
so just picture...
Montana, Nevada?
No.
You want like...
Kansas.
Kansas? So flatland.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
As far as I can see. Okay. Well, I think Kansas has mountains, but like what I think of Kansas is just cornfields and shit.
So let's say they go back to them. It rains every single day, right? But every day they're talking like they're trying to talk each other up to keep them on this fucking journey. You know what I mean? In Holtz's mind, he's thinking about his family and the picture of his family that he left while he told them I'll be back. So it got kids, shit everywhere, fucking coughing and pus coming out of their pustules, just popping as they cough and shit like that. Oh. Got the wife fucking trying to tend to the kids.
While she's dying.
And he's like, I swear to God, I'll be back. And maybe there are no words he says. Maybe he just puts the handkerchief over his nose and mouth. And then he just nods to his wife, and his wife nods back, and he just like, I gotta get them right. So
and it just ends with him trotting away, and you hear the kids crying.
Yeah, You know what I mean?
Like a weak cry though. Like we're not long for this world.
Yeah, I don't have enough energy to really cry. So
Goddamn.
after all this this rain and shit like that,
This is rotten. For all y'all listening, never have black cherry lemonade by Snapple. It's not good.
so after the 5 days journey, that's going to be like a little bit of it. I want to be like maybe 25 minutes of the just a plight of just pulling your horses really instead of having them walk through mud and shit like that. And they're dog ass tired. But on the, let's say on a ridge that they're on, it's completely dipped in. So it's kind of like a bowl that they're coming into. And in the middle of that with grass around the radius is a big ass oak tree. Right?
Okay.
And you see a piece of river or that's bitten into the inside, so it's really underground. Mm-hmm. But this, you can tell it in the past it just sank in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So many fucking years ago. And then you see the cave that's dipped off into the shadows or into the little corner right there. So they're all celebrating and shit like that. It's that time, about an hour before they see the great oak tree, the rain stops completely. So they're all celebrating and shit like that, and they ride down there. And this about, I want to say 4 o'clock. So they just make camp. Mm-hmm. They make camp there on the persistence of the Cornsand twins. Mm-hmm. So they camp there and shit like that, and then everybody, they're taking inventory. Everybody got their shovels. Everybody got this and that. You got enough water. If not, we can just dip in the stream. That's cool. Make sure that these horses stay in the shade and shit like that. Or make sure our rations are good, stuff like that. They go, the next day they wake up and they start digging. They dig hella deep into one area, not there. Hella deep into another area, not there. And so the Cornsand twins are kind of like, come on, motherfucker, like you said it was here. And he was like, just, how about we start in all 3 different areas and then we can cut back time and shit. So what if you get some flakes of gold and shit, we'll know that it's good in this area. And then you guys come over here, all right, deal? He's like, all right, deal. So they start digging, right? Mm-hmm. And so at that time they cut to the back into the cave, right? And at this time he's lost a considerable amount of blood, and all he sees is like a shadow at the front of the cave, and he's like, hey, who's there? Like, Clement, are you there? And the nigga doesn't answer, and the dude's like tiptoeing forward. The shadow's getting bigger, but his vision's shit now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this is all in the amount of, this is hours. Mm-hmm. No, this is the next day, right? So nightfall comes. He doesn't have any fucking, how do you say? He didn't create a fire there. So he just dug himself deeper into the dirt to stay warm, right? But he had his pistol on his hand, so he was in and out of sleep, waking up, thinking he heard something, shooting into the darkness. And then morning comes, somebody's in there, and you can tell they have a weapon in their hands. Mm-hmm. They're like tiptoeing forward, and he closes one eye and just pops 3 shots. Pow, 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 fast as fuck. The dude falls face first. You know what I mean? And he's just like, Edwin, I hope that's not you. Like, if that's you, I'm sorry. Then the nigga starts crying and shit like that. His vision's just getting worse and worse as his time goes past. So, then we cut to the previous, that morning, right? Because all this...
Prior to him being shot?
Yeah, prior to him being shot. Okay. So, they're digging and shit like that. And he sees flakes of gold and shit like that. Then he calls them over there, and they're just digging. And it's just, I want to say, McNugget-sized pieces of gold here and there, and they're just like cheering and celebrating and shit like that. And he keeps digging in. You know what I mean? That greed in you is going to see it. If you got a little bit of this, you're going to want some more. You know what I mean? And he pops it open. He's digging even deeper into the dirt. The dirt's getting wetter and wetter, and he just picks up like this Fuji apple-sized piece of gold. And he holds it above his head. He's like, yeah! And then, BOW! He's shot right through the chest. Right? And he's been shot before. You know what I mean? This nigga's past is mysterious. He knows how to wield a gun and shit like that. And he puts his hand over his chest, his opposite hand over the right side of his chest, and he pulls out the gun and pops a nigga on the ridge, like from, I want to say, 300 feet away. You know what I mean? He knows exactly where he is because of where the fuck he was shot through his chest. Turns around, pops 2 shots. Pop, pop. One of them got him, and the nigga falls those 100 some odd feet down.
You see the smoke or like the dirt pick up as he lands, and his body crashes to the floor.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And there's 2 more people on the opposite side. One dude shoots him through the leg, and he shoots back at him. By this time, the corn sand twins have ducked inside the hole. You know what I mean? And he shoots at one of them, and then he turns back to the other one, and they're nowhere to be found. And the one he shot at previously shoots him again right to the belly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's just like, oh, this is where I fucking died. This can't end like this, bro. Mm-hmm. And so he, the one that, when he shot to the belly, he falls to his back. And the corn sand twins, he falls into the hole on his back, and the corn sand twins pick him up and pull him into the cave that they see, instead of just dipping off, because he's the only nigga with the gun. Mm-hmm. So if they're covering his body with bullets, it's impossible to get that fucking gun if we just leave this nigga here. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to grab for his gun as they're pulling him, and he's just like, no, I'm staying with, this is my gun. You know what I mean? They're not trying to strong arm him because he has his hand on the trigger still. You know what I mean? So they can't just take the
like,
fucking
grab
gun
around my shoulders. Let go of the gun.
Yeah.
I'll hold the gun, grab my fucking shoulders. Help us out.
And then so he pulls them, they pull them into the cave, and that's where we find ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where we find ourselves is after he kills the guy. He's trying to grip for he feels himself not so long for this world, and he's trying to grip for his cross, right? Mm-hmm. And he can't find it. That shit's gone. So he's just like, fuck, like, this can't fucking end like this, bro. And so he, in his own blood, he paints a cross on the wall. Right? And he's talking to God and stuff like that. He's talking to God and stuff like that. And and it's like a real come to Jesus kind of thing. And he hasn't done so right in this world, and he's sorry for killing the bodies that he's taken over this time in his life. He's sorry for that shit. Like, if you want to take me now kind of thing. And he sings like an old song that it's like a flashback of him as a kid in church singing a fucking song that his mom would lead off the whole congregation with and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And he starts singing that song, right? And he's like in excruciating pain. Like, terrible fucking pain. And he's calling out for these niggas. And then, like, he closes his eyes. At the same, right? So, he has his gun while he's getting pulled into the cave, by the way. But he has a piece of the Fuji apple-sized nugget in his other hand. Mm-hmm. So he dispatched these niggas with one fucking hand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he gets pulled into the cave and shit. All the while he still has this shit while he's in the back of the cave. So he digs a fucking hole, right? And covers it, puts the Fuji-sized apple gold in there and covers it with his shit piled on top of that. and blood and shit and pieces of his like he's going mad at this point to cover this, like pieces of his hair he's putting on top of that shit just so make it unfucking. You don't want to touch whatever the fuck is, you know what I mean? You don't want to touch this pile of whatever the fuck this is. There's shit in here, there's blood, you know. So he's singing himself, he's trying to lull himself into death pretty much. And he knew like the jig was up and like fuck. So, and then it cuts to that morning, right? No, it's going to cut to the day before they left. The corn Santos asked for that day, and they're going to leave in the morning. So they rendezvous with. They go home that day, and their cousins are there and shit like that. And he's like, "We got our eyes on some gold. You guys want to come?" You know what I mean? All you have to do is follow, like, keep track of our tracks. Yeah. And just be a day behind.
Yeah, keep a long tail on us. Don't be up close. This motherfucker, he's real good with a gun.
Yeah,
and he's suspicious as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. He won't even let us take our guns. So you guys bring guns though, obviously. So just be actually not a day, be half a day behind us, out of the sight of somebody with a a good eye. And they're like, bet, and then they come up with a fucking plan. So that's what the 5 days. So they're gonna go this way, right? They want to be about a half a day behind them, and then on the fourth day, he told him that night, "I need you guys to travel at night and to assume where we're going to go. So go ahead of us,
so you can watch us coming into the region."
Exactly. So. Just in case, it should look like this: a big tree, and then they're kind of finishing each other's sentences because of what they remember from the flash of
that. And he's not showing them that at all throughout the whole trip.
Exactly.
So he's like, just kind of like use your best judgment on where you think we would go, because you know the land. You know, you're not stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, he may know where he's going more than you do, but you know what would make sense for there to be an oak tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been here longer than them. We know this shit.
So they're following the grass, how the grass is growing green on their side. And
following the edge of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So they cut them off and they enter the ridge before them. And then over, that was on the fourth day, and the fifth day, they see them coming in one morning, and they're sitting on the ridge with their rifles. And they stay that night, and then the next morning they're digging, and they're just watching them, cracking jokes to each other. And then all you hear is Denver like, woohoo! Like, got that shit, and then they just pow.
Bow.
Pow, pow, pow.
All you need is a shot to kill him. And then he says that he's like, pound for pound. No, I'm not going to steal that shit. But he's like, all I need is one shot to kill this motherfucker. Shoots him, ends up dead faster than homeboy gets, is dead.
Exactly. And they're kind of panicking because, say that was Edwin, Running Wind's cousins, right? And there were 3 brothers. The oldest brother just got shot and killed. So they see them, they're just like, he sees their big brother just fall. Break his fucking bones and neck and shit like that.
Even if he wasn't dead, now he is.
Now he's dead.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what the... Now I'm going to shoot to... You know what I mean? Obviously, they're going to shoot to kill, but they get overzealous and start missing shots. And they get shot at. Maybe one of them gets winged or whatever the fuck. And they both get a shot out on him. And he falls down. And they're just like, fuck, all right, we're good now. So, and then they see them carrying them off. They're like, what the fuck are they doing?
They don't have guns.
Exactly.
And they're not taking that into account in the stir of everything. They're like, yo, he's going to shoot us.
Yes.
If we don't do anything to help him not die right now, we're going to die before these motherfuckers die.
Yeah. And also in Denver's mind, these were the guys that he just stole that plan from.
So he's like...
He's not even...
He's like, we were ahead of them.
Yeah.
By that much.
Yeah. He's not even figuring that they might be in cahoots.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's just like, you're like, oh man, that white motherfucker got me. You know what I mean?
Fucking
but
honky. Like, getting carried to a cave.
He was like, oh, it was that nigga Brett. Fuck him. You know what I mean? And they're just like, yeah, for sure, Brett. Yeah.
Let's get you to this cave, dog.
He was like, what does the guy look like? Go look at him and tell me what he looks like. Just so he knows, like, either it's that guy.
Can you give us our gun? Your gun? They're shooting you. How are we gonna go in there and this shit stays with me, doggy.
Make it work. Make it work. You guys got shovels.
Go around.
Yeah.
Do something. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Cut them off. You guys got horses out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I shot one of them. So there's only one other guy out there, I think. I think. I don't know.
Exactly, bro. And he was disoriented by the shot in the chest, but he got off.
That shot in the belly is what...
Is, you know what I mean, the bile and shit. So he's like, fuck. They come down and they meet the twins in the hole, right? And they're just digging out the fucking gold, putting it in their pockets. He's like, all right, let's go. He's like, no, he has the big piece. Let's get the big piece. And then so it's 2 and 2. Two say, let's fucking get the fuck out of here. And the other one's just like, big piece. And then...
And it's that, like, you got the big homie. You got the big homie on a deal that should have been a clean pick and rob.
Exactly, bro. So now, let's say Edwin and Clement are on the opposite sides of picking.
Just disagreeing on whether just to dip with the shit we have in our pockets or wait for this nigga to die so we can take the big nugget.
Exactly. So now one of the brothers is now he changes his mind. He wants to go get the nugget. But really get the nugget, he wants to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say that was the littlest brother. Let's say he wants to kill this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they come up with a plan. All right. Morning's time, he should be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, he's been shot 3 times.
Yeah. He should
leg,
he should bleed
gut,
out.
Chest.
Yeah.
You don't make it through that. What normal man is going to make it through that? And that nigga out here writing a cross in his blood.
Yeah.
And he's just like... Pfft.
For real, though.
We'll see. We'll see if I make it.
So, they're like, all right, bet. That's what I'm going to do. Who wants to go in there first? The smallest brother's just like me. I'm going to take his fucking head off. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in there with the rifle. I'm going to, we're going to
I want to look him in his eye.
I want to go, actually, let's go right now. He's like, no, wait until a day. It's easier. You can do whatever you want to this nigga's body. You can cut his head off, ride around with his fucking head. I don't give a fuck. But we have to wait until morning.
He shot your brother from almost 300 yards away after being shot. What makes you think he's not going to be able to shoot you from 20 feet away?
Yeah.
And he's like... You know that look where you're just like, you're making sense?
Yeah, but I don't want to hear that
But
shit.
I don't want to hear... That's what niggas want to say when you find out your girl's been fucking somebody.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't go do nothing, Pat. I'm like, I'm going to kill him! Like, hey, man.
I will murder him!
Fucking up plastic tables and shit in the backyard.
So, in the middle of the night, the little brother starts to walk over there.
He sneaks out.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen.
But he's making mad fucking noise. Because he's walking around into darkness.
Stumbling on shit.
Yeah. And then he hears that ting ting. That's a shot that he heard, that Denver heard. He was like, is this a fucking animal? Mm-hmm. And then he shoots into the darkness. That's what the shot was.
Okay. So
it ties back around. First light comes. And the little brother just sitting there. Just waiting. Just stayed up all night.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, have you heard anything? He's like, no. And then he loads up his fucking rifle. And he's like, all right, go in there slow. He's going to be on the first rock. That's where we left him.
He's moved. And dug himself in the dirt. So his body shape isn't that of a man sitting on flat ground.
Exactly.
He's lower than he should be.
Mm-hmm. So he starts to walk back in that bitch. And then he tries to get him into his sights. Boom! Half his fucking head just blows back. He takes his face dive. I'm talking about Macho Man Randy Savage off the top rope, dropping the elbow kind of drop.
Mm-hmm.
and he's face down, ass up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like,
he's still alive?
was that a rifle? Or, then the brother says that was a revolver. He's still alive. And he's like, fuck.
And they can't call out for him because that gives their position.
Yeah.
And that gives how many people are out there. Because Cuz is on the brink of death. Like, literally, the devil is hitting a Joe Rogan interview while he's on his way out. You feel me? So he's right there, but way better at you than with the pistol.
Yeah.
Way better with a revolver.
Half blinded.
Even half blinded, delirious, blood loss, dehydration, starvation, just all of this shit that happens, right?
All the vations, yeah.
And Cuz has been at a 10 since he almost died in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
And then he went on a long ass journey thinking about his family the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then put in mad work digging up this shit.
Yep.
Body's tired, bro. We're not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Elation. I found the gold.
Yeah. My family's
alive, nigga!
Yeah.
Ah! Bow! What the? Bow, bow! And he's like, oh my God. Brett followed us. That son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Drag me to the cave. I'm bleeding out. Shot me in my belly.
Yep.
I'm losing all of this shit that smells weird.
Yeah.
You feel me? They put me up in the cave. I'm like, you need to go find somebody. They're like, give us your gun. We'll go find. He's like, nah, I'm good, dog. He has not been at a sober point as far as where his mental and physical self is at.
Yeah.
He's been at a 10 the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And so now he's at a 10, body's at a 2.
Yeah.
Continue, Joseph.
So after they heard that shit, you can see, so they guess at the gun, and now they take a look over.
Like 6:30 in the morning? 6? You said first light.
I wouldn't say, 6:30 to 7. And then...
it is by a cave, so there would be some kind of like shade coming from the back of it, depending on where the sun's coming
So you
up.
definitely can't see what the fuck is in the back.
Yeah.
But you can see what's coming inside the cave.
Yeah, you can see easier coming, like if you're in the cave looking out, as opposed to somebody coming in with their eyes adjusting to the blue light compared to complete darkness.
Yes, exactly.
He's been seeing silhouettes the whole fucking night.
Yeah, and that's why he was just like, I got 15 bullets left, you know what I mean? And then he starts to think rational and then irrational. Mm-hmm. So he just shoots out into the dark. He's like, 14, fuck.
Oof,
puts it back.
Final countdown.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So now there's 3 of them left. Now, and one of the brothers that were part of the cousin trio, he's like, I'm out. I'm fucking out. Well, I'm the last of my name. We were supposed to bring this shit back to my grandmother.
And now I have to tell her that
both of my brothers are dead. I'm out. Give me my piece and I'm fucking out. And they're just like, they kind of look at it and like, yeah, let's jump this nigga. You know what I mean? You remember Smokey?
Yeah.
He's like, let's jump him. He's like, sit your ass down. Right? And they're just like, but Edwin is just like, this is still my cousin. Fuck it. Here. Has him 2 like lumps of gold. Here. You know what I mean? Go. And then he's like, so he's like, I can't get my little brother, but I can take my big brother back. Mm-hmm. So he folds his big brother up.
Throws him on the back of the horse.
Yep. Throws him on the back of the horse and
trots out.
Just looks back and just like,
all this for gold.
All this for gold.
We could have left. We could have left him in the cave.
Yeah.
Got everything that we could from where they found it.
Even dug deeper.
Yeah.
But they were just like, he has a big. We saw the big. He has the big.
There was ways around this, and it was a whole bunch of niggas being greedy and not realizing to get out when you got it good.
Yes. So he's like, fuck. So he rides off. So there's only 2 of them left, the original Cornsand twins, and then they're trying to come up with a plan. They're just like, let's wait 2 days time, and we'll be good. He was like, in 2 days, the people that were supposed to originally be here will be here. We cannot fucking wait for this.
And they all came with guns.
Yeah, they all came with guns, and who knows, they could have got more fucking people.
Yeah, because they are assuming this is a big like yield. You're gonna get a lot of. This is the gold rush, and you're telling niggas who are on the rush to get it, that there's a lot of it in one place.
Yeah, exactly.
They're coming with multiple people. They're coming with the homies. They're coming with straps. They're coming with multiple horses to carry out all this shit. It's a convoy. It's not 2 niggas on horseback. It's people coming to strike it for their entire generation. They're trying to be generationally like wealthy off of this shit.
So unbeknownst to them, about 2 day out, the original planners are camping out, and day hits, and they're just like, all right, let's go. And they start hearing gunshots. They're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And the guy's like sitting on his horse. You know how the niggas cross their shit over? Just
Yeah,
like
their
standing
arms.
there.
Yeah, it's like,
He's like, let's just wait it out. Whoever we see come out first, we kill him. He's gonna have some gold on him.
like how do you know only one person's coming out? He's like, we don't.
He's like, you see how many gunshots there were? There's gonna be one motherfucker coming out.
I think I know where you're going with
What's
this.
up, bro? Tell me what you got.
Is cuz with the one that chose morality and saying, I need to get my brother back home. Till he hit that bend and get his whole face blown the fuck off. Let's go.
Yes,
Let's go.
bro.
Because if you get in the car, Trey,
Yeah.
you got to mob with this.
Yeah.
Don't ride to this shit unless you're down to be here for the whole shit.
Yeah.
And he was down to do it until people started dying. He's like, we did this for my grandma, dog. We did this to like give us some like a jump start to get ahead on things.
Yeah.
2 of my brothers are dead. I'm out. And they're like, all right, here's some gold. Smoke Cuddy when he hits that bend.
And
On some bandit shit, we're just at a higher vantage point than you are when you're hitting a corner.
And they waited as long as they, you know what I mean? His brother got killed the next day. They're sitting down just waiting for that one person.
Yeah.
And he steps out, sees his brother on the back.
And they can hear different types of guns.
Exactly.
So they're like, that's a revolver. That's gone off numerous times in one night.
Yeah.
That was a rifle.
So he must be the one with the revolver. He steps out of that because they don't hear any more gunshots after that.
Mm-hmm.
And he rides out, gets smoked. Pow. And
Gold falls out of his pockets.
Yeah. And then they're just like, he's like, is this it? There's 10 of us here. Is this it?
And it's like silver dollar sized pieces of gold.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah.
It's money.
And he was like,
It's supposed to be a big job.
yeah, I heard that there was, but he goes and he just like, he takes it for what it is because his greed level isn't as big as the ones that are in that ridge. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the oak draws that out of you, that greed. But he's just like, let's take it for what it is. You know what I mean? And just take this gold. Because his older brother, he stuffed gold in his older brother's pockets too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they ravaged the bodies and shit like that.
Leave them like naked and shit. Like hella like
Disrespectful
because you know native people have to bury their people a certain way. You know what I mean? Like they don't just leave them naked on the battlefield.
Yeah. So
you don't make it to the next plane of existence like that. You're just a lost soul on this planet now.
Exactly, bro. So we go to Denver in the cave, and now his mural of the cross has gotten bigger. He's starting to draw more things he draws his kids as best as possible, his wife, and the cross has gotten bigger and more defined and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Then there's another cross, and he's like starting to draw, more things. And the mural's now from this little cross to about 3 feet this way and 3 feet that way. So he's just on his belly, just drawing, right? And so he falls into
Tom Hardy plays this role, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he falls asleep on his belly and shit like that, and he wakes up, and he's like in excruciating pain. The nigga, like, he pretty much just he doesn't want to shoot himself to stop this pain, but he like does some like kid shit and tries to like hold his breath. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just like, because the gun is 6 out of 6 he's gonna kill himself, but he's afraid of that because he's not gonna see he's not gonna see his kids and shit.
That's not how you go out.
Exactly. So he tries to kill himself that way, and he's
What if he just sits up and lets the blood leak out?
Yeah,
Like instead of trying to stifle it, maybe he just sits up and like he sees it going, like he's like, I'll be dead soon.
He sees the green bile and shit come out of his body.
Bile is green? I thought it was black.
No, it's greenish. I don't know. I saw it off of CSI Miami, off their montages of how.
I for sure have never seen any actual bile, so I have no.
Yeah, maybe
no
not.
idea.
So he goes and he remembers drawing a copy of the map and shit like that, and he leaves it under his doorstep for his wife, just in case anything happens and you get better by some way. I'm not here. Go here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So he went back home. I thought he was 5 days
Remember
away in
the
his
day?
mine.
Remember the day away? No, the
Oh,
mine.
he was a day away from that. He went 5 days away to go to the
the ridge.
oak.
Yeah. So remember that night where he was just like, "We'll meet up in the morning."
Mm-hmm.
The morning that he left his family,
Mm-hmm.
that's when he gives him the map.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he slept outside with his horse and shit like that, and he slips it under the shit. And that's him leaving and him telling her. That's what we don't pick up. Him telling her that if I don't come back, and if you're well enough to walk up here, you're well enough to go get either go find me or go get the gold that's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just as a keep your spirits up too. Like, I'm out here for you guys, but come for my body if anything happens.
Because I'll have it on me.
I'll have it on me. I swear to God.
Nobody's taking this out of my hands.
Yeah. So now it's just Edwin and Clement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like thinking of a plan, just waiting and shit like that. Hours go by and they're just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go in there. You know what I mean? Edwin says. And they're just like, all right. Clement says, he's like, go ahead. You know. But there's a rifle in the beginning of the entrance. Grab that rifle though. You know what I mean? Because we don't have any guns out here. He refused to leave us with anything. And the gun he took, he needed. The middle brother needed. There's one gun the younger brother had, and then the other gun that the older brother had is broken because it fell off the fucking side with his body. So all you have is a shovel. You go in this bitch with a shovel, and you'll be good. And he was like, all right, bet. He's like, I'd feel much safer if I could retrieve that rifle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, you know, go for it. He kind of peers, and it's under the body of the younger brother, right? So he's trying to grab the nigga's foot and drag him out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's hella intense. It gets you like, either this nigga's gonna get his fucking head shot off, or he can make it out and drag the body out and finish what he needs to do get this rifle. So he's pulling the shit out. It's like 2 or 3 minutes I want it to be continuous running. So like a real actor trying to drag a fucking human body out, a real body out of this bitch without showing too much of his head. And him pulling the shit out, and the rifle drags out with the body, and then boom! Edwin hits this nigga over the head, Clement over the head with his shovel. And then hits him again. Va! The greed. Right? He gets a rifle that Clement spent so much fucking time pulling out of that bitch.
Yeah.
And he's starting to, then he just like, all right, this way, and it's loaded and shit like that, because he didn't get a shot off. So he's just like, I'm going to wait a little bit longer, and then I'm going to go in there and do what I have to do. So we go back into the cave, and now the niggas, he can't see it all now. You know what I mean? He's in and out of consciousness. And he's just like singing that hymn that his mother sung with him in church. Like over and over again. And then all you see is like the shadow getting bigger, just tiptoeing closer to him. And then he pulls out his gun, but he doesn't have the strength to pull the trigger. It's just not enough. He spent all this fucking time. He bled out how he wants to, while he tried to kill himself, but he was just conscious enough to feel this person coming closer to him, and he stands over him, and he's like, you know, where's the gold? And then he thinks like, why am I asking this nigga? I can just search for this shit. And he just pulls the trigger and kills Denver right there. Shoots him in the chest. And then he's checking Denver and shit like that. And he's feeling his body. He's like, I don't know where the fucking gold is. Like, then he asks him, like, where the fuck is the gold? Where's the gold at? And the nigga's lifeless fucking body, he's not getting anything. And he's digging, he's like feeling the earth and shit like that. And he's missing this big ass pile of shit that's against the wall and shit like that. He's just like, and then you hear niggas outside on horses, like coming down the ridge,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like trying to load up the gun again.
And now there's 3 bodies.
Yeah, now there's 3 bodies. He's like, he's searching the other bodies for guns, and he gets Denver's pistol, and he waits on the ridge and shit like that. And one of the people is just like, who's in there? We just heard a shot. Come on out, boy. And he's just like, and he comes out like with a pistol in his hand, and he's just like speaking a foreign language just to be like, I don't know, like what the fuck. But then they start to see the body that's decapitated from a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
They see another body that's
the head's been blown off.
The exact head's been blown off.
And then they see a white man.
Yeah.
Dead.
And then they're just like, come here. So so the fate of him is mysterious to you. So it's not, everything is not completely
determined.
Yeah, determined. But we go back into the cave and see the back, and we open up, and it's this big wide mural
of blood. And
blood,
his life and his mistakes and his loves and his passions. And
yeah, Jesus is big as fuck in here with a thorny crown on, but all this like elementary as fuck.
Oh, Josh
and it all is pointing down to the cross that he made, and the cross, underneath the cross is his shit, and under that shit
is the gold nugget.
Is the gold. Yeah.
How would you feel about this slight little change about the end? Is that they don't know? Is this Brett
that comes down into the ridge? Yes.
Okay, so they're aware of the gold.
Yeah.
They're aware that there should be some gold around here.
Because remember, they checked the body, and they're like, this is not enough. But he was like, let's take it for what it is, and, take our dub.
Okay.
He divvies out cuts and shit like that. If you guys want to turn back, you can. Be happy with what you got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, we're going to camp out here for another day or so. I have a cousin who lives this way, and my auntie lives that way. You know what I mean? So me and 2-3 other people are going to stay here. And they're like, fine. The rest of the team leaves, and it's fine with their 2 or 3 lumps of gold that they got. They can do a lot of damage.
That would have been 6 months of work at those mines that they
if
almost
not
died.
Way
you know what
more.
I mean? Like they're like, we're good, dog. We're good. We're not gonna. And that's the thing is, greed is what destroyed everybody in this story.
Yes, absolutely.
You had gold.
Yeah.
You could have been like, we can come back. Nobody knows about this spot.
Yeah.
Clean it out for what we can get. But these 2, Sam brothers are just like, yo, like we can get him for everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't trust you, but I need you. And then like it's beautiful, Joseph. It's beautiful. It's a good story.
And so he comes back with maybe a team of 3 and 4. Brett does, and then that's who rides down in there. You know what I mean?
Ooh, what if like, as the story ends, right? You hear them like shuffling around, doing shit outside the cave, and like it starts to like focus in on Denver, like just dead against the cave, right? Against the cave wall. And like as it does that, you hear like fumbling around and like a door open, and then it cuts to his wife coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know what happens after that.
Yeah.
She could be, those kids could be dead.
Silent. It's silent though. That's where she comes from. Complete silence.
And then she comes out and she sees that little piece of parchment underneath.
It's flapping away. Just a little bit.
And then she grabs it, and then it's like, doom.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to show like that there could be that second siege of said gold.
Yeah.
And or she just knows where the body of her husband's at.
Yeah, and goes and I want this to be a standalone, but I wouldn't, like, your imagination goes to her being a strong ass woman who just saw the death of her kids, that made those steps to
beat smallpox without Tylenol.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is?
Made the steps to walk to the front door and not just die with her kids.
Not die in the darkness.
Yeah.
Die in the sun.
Yeah. And to stand up straight, bend your ass over and stand up straight again.
When you don't have the will.
Yeah.
They embodied the same thing. He was willing to leave a dying family to save it.
Yeah.
And she's left a dead family to go towards the light, to go towards life past this thing, past this moment that is going to wreck me. But at the end of the day, it in its own sick way made me stronger because I can overcome that.
Yeah.
Just like we've overcome so much. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then, the sequel, you feel like I want this to be a standalone. But in the sequel, it just starts out with her riding the horse with a pistol. You're like, all right, man, I just told you it's a standalone. I love it.
Yeah.
We're calling it Any Day Now?
Yep. Any Day Now.
Now, see, can I change the name? No, I'm just joking. I like that because any day now that he could have died. This entire movie, any day now he could have died.
Yep. And also, to any day now the rain's going to stop. Any day now my families will be dead.
Any day now I'm going to bleed out.
Exactly.
Any day now he's going to die and then we go in and get the gold.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Every instance is an any day now.
And then maybe in a fantastical way, like maybe we don't see him get the shot off, or we just see the Edwin approach him with the gun and just stand straight up to stroke it, to give him a butt stroke, and then as he's erect, it cuts to his wife coming out of the house, right? Mm-hmm. And then it cuts back to the cave, and and Denver shot Edwin dead, right? Mm-hmm. And then he musters enough fucking strength to stand up, and he's completely erect, and he's limping to the front of the cave, and he walks out into the light.
It was blinding.
A blinding light. And then he hears his wife says his name. And he's just like, and he just stands up, he's like, and smiles, and then we cut.
I love it. Because that could be him walking into the unknown, like,
yeah. And then really his wife died as well. That was her walking into the unknown, into the light as well.
Because they're both coming out of the darkness into the light.
Yeah.
She's leaving a dark home full of disease and death to go towards light. He's coming out of like literal cave where he had planned on dying.
Yeah.
At a certain point, he'd given up and was like, this is where I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And that last surge of energy was like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk out this bitch. Mm-hmm. I hear somebody, and it's my wife.
Yeah.
Woo! We're the Academy.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Just so it won't be so messy with the Brett coming in and...
Well, I like the Brett because it keeps you on a timeline.
Yeah.
That, like, so we barely beat these niggas out here.
Yeah.
Because we got the jump on them, and they wanted to get more people and more equipment. They need to go get extra shovels. They need extra horses. Because they're like, we're going to strike big. We want to be able to take all this shit out. And we got to have the guns and shit to protect ourselves. Because they didn't want to run the scenario that Denver is running into. Mm-hmm. Where I'm the only motherfucker with a gun. And I didn't know these two people brought two other people with them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's 4 against 1, 2 against 1 as far as guns go.
Yeah.
But I don't know those 2 guns are out there. I know about these 2 heads that I brought with me.
Yep.
But I don't know that I'm just going to get shot through the chest, through the belly, and through the leg by a motherfucker a quarter mile away.
Exactly. And maybe as he's walking away into the light of the cave and shit like that, then we see the mural that he's painted, and he's forgotten about the gold. You know what I mean?
He left the gold there.
Yeah. As you can't take riches when you go.
Nope. The only riches you get is the love the connection that you make with people.
Yeah. And then he drops his gun as he's like, he feels something there and shit like that. And then he hears his wife call his name. And then he's just like, here, like, fuck yeah. I knew you'd come. Like, and then, cut to black.
Dramatic as fuck. Nice. Not a dry eye in the theater.
Fuck yeah.
Cool. I like it, Joseph.
Yeah.
God damn, that was good.
And Patrick immensely helped me out. I only told this nigga there's 2 people carrying somebody into a cave, and he's literally helped me out with all the shit. So, it follows the 7 stages of grief, by the way. Shock, when he enters the cave. Denial, when he tries to walk again. Anger.
He fucks up his stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to do some shit he can't do.
Anger, when he kills the first person walking through the cave. Bargaining.
He's trying to see if I could maybe give him a piece of this gold.
No, when he searches for his cross and he starts to pray.
Oh, when he starts the murals, he's bargaining with God. Okay.
Yeah. Depression, when he tried to kill himself and make himself bleed out. Acceptance and hope, when he remembers when he has the lump of gold and he's okay with dying, and he remembers that he told his wife where it is, so it's okay. He told his wife where his body will be and where the gold will be, so it's fine if he dies. And then processing grief is when he starts to sing the hymn that he sung with his mother.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the Scrapbook Podcast Director's Cut. I am your host, Jody Pratt, with my fellow host, Patrick Wigfall. If you liked it, tell me you like that shit, bro. If not, it's okay. If you make this shit, we're getting a piece of that. We love you. Don't stop being creative. Peace.
Keep it popping. Deuces.